What's up, everybody? My name is Parasite, and welcome back to Rebuilding Chelsea. That is right, we have left Everton and joined Chelsea in the championship. I just thought it was the perfect natural progression of this series to go from a team that we took from the championship all the way to the Premier League glory and try to do it again with Chelsea. I think we can because their team is very good. To be honest, they should never have gotten relegated with the team they have. I don't know what that last manager was doing, but he was doing something very poorly if he got them relegated. We've gotten off to a good start this season. We've had the first couple games of the championship season. We are back for the UEFA Super Cup against Hertha Berlin. That is right, we are in the UEFA Super Cup in the championship. Chelsea won the Europa League last season. So they were in the FA Cup final, which they lost. They were in the UEFA Super Cup, or not the UEFA Super Cup, the Europa League final, which they won. So they're going to be facing the Champions League winner, Hertha Berlin, surprisingly. 20 years in the future, Hertha Berlin has won the Champions League, and we'll be taking them on in the UEFA Super Cup. I want to show a few things. It's only going to be one episode today. It's only one game today in this episode. It's only going to be the UEFA Super Cup. I wanted to show you a couple things. I'm going to show you how all the leagues did last season, how we've done so far this season. I'm going to go through the players just so you can get used to this Chelsea squad. So far, we've gotten off to a great start. 2-0, 3-0, 5-0. Not a goal allowed. Quite a few goals scored. First game, we won 2-0 over Sunderland. Man, Daryl Wilson, I'll show you him later, but he got 2 goals. Then played Millwall, won 3-0. Solaire Diaby and Marcus Connor with goals. Then we beat Colchester 5-0. Solaire with a brace. Diagne, Wilson, and Gavrich with goals. We've been very good. We're far too good for this division. It's not even funny how good we are. Look at some of the teams we beat in preseason. 25-0, 15-0, 5-1 against Hamburg, who are not a bad team. So let's go through all the other competitions, though, how they finished last season. In terms of the Premier League, Everton are currently top, which is good to see. Obviously, we won the Premier League. Liverpool and Southampton second and third. City in fourth. I'm very happy with how we finished last season. Again, it was the least points it's ever been won in this series that has ever won the Premier League. So we got a little bit lucky, but I'll take luck any day of the week. In terms of La Liga, there we go. You go to last season. It was won by Barcelona, 92 points. Real Madrid second. Atletico Madrid third. Valencia fourth. Sociedad and Levante in the Europa League spots. Granada, Zaragoza, and Getafe relegated. Not much of a surprise there. The Bundesliga won by Hertha Berlin, who won the Champions League as well. So Hertha Berlin had a great season last year. 79 points. Bayern Munich second. Dortmund third. Leverkusen fourth. Schalke and Gladbach in the Europa League spots. Fortuna Dusseldorf and Hanover relegated. Serie A was won by Lazio. I think that's Lazio's first Serie A victory. They have won the Serie A by a pretty wide margin, 12 points over Inter. Inter second, Juventus third, Milan fourth, Atalanta and Napoli in the Europa League spots. No big surprises there. Udinese, Venezia, and Fiorentina relegated. Fiorentina bottom of the Serie A. And finally, Liga. Won by Lyon over PSG. 6 points clear of PSG. Nantes actually in third. Nice, Lille, and Caen in fourth, fifth, and sixth. Amiens and Paris FC relegated. If we go to the Champions League, obviously it was won by Hertha. We want to go to stages last season. Let's go to the quarterfinal. Let's start with the quarterfinal. Porto over Inter, City over Dortmund, Atletico Madrid over Arsenal, and Hertha over Real Madrid. So they took out Real Madrid on the way to the final. And they also beat Atletico Madrid into the final. Man City was in the final against them. They beat Porto. So the final was Hertha Berlin 2-1 win over Man City. In terms of the Europa League and stages, previous season. Let's go to the quarterfinal. Valencia beat Ajax. Tottenham beat Man United, who had a terrible end of the season. Chelsea beat Stade Rennais, and Benfica beat Atalanta. And in the semifinal, Benfica beat Valencia, and Chelsea beat Tottenham. So Chelsea beat Benfica 2-1 in the Europa League final to get Champions League football. So we're going to have Champions League football in the championship. Has that ever happened before? I kind of doubt it, because you can only get Europa League football through the FA Cup. So you'd have to be in the Europa League already in the championship and win it to get Europa League to get Champions League football. I just don't think it's probably ever happened. There's also been a World Cup since I last saw you. Let's look at the previous winner since this save started. Holland won the first one, Belgium won the second one, England won the third, Germany won the fourth, Portugal won the fifth, and France has won the most recent FIFA Club World Cup. They beat Croatia. If we look at all the groups, Russia and Peru through, England and Morocco, Wales atop of their group over Chile, France and New Zealand over Australia, that's interesting, Spain and Canada, Denmark and Colombia, Germany and Algeria, Italy and Ghana, USA and Ireland, Argentina and Croatia, over Japan. Poor Japan, they were in a group of death. Belgium and Ivory Coast, Portugal and Nigeria, Greece and Uruguay, Northern Ireland over Brazil, top of the group over Brazil and over South Korea. Mexico and Ukraine and Paraguay. What an easy group that was. Paraguay, China, and Slovakia. So if we look at the second round, Morocco beat Russia, England beat Peru, Wales beat New Zealand, France beat Chile, Colombia beat Spain. That's a big matchup in the second round of the World Cup. Denmark beat Canada, Germany beat Ghana, Italy beat Algeria, Croatia beat the United States, Argentina beat Ireland, Belgium beat Nigeria, Portugal beat Ivory Coast in extra time, Greece beat Brazil. What an upset that is. Northern Ireland beat Uruguay, Mexico beat China, and Ukraine beat Paraguay. In the third round, France beat Morocco. Wales beat England. Wow, Wales beating England in the third round of the World Cup. Colombia beating Italy on penalties. Denmark beating Germany in extra time. Croatia beating Portugal on penalties. Belgium over Argentina. Greece over Ukraine on penalties. And Mexico over Northern Ireland. In the quarterfinal, France beat Denmark. Wales beat Colombia. Wales makes it all the way to a semifinal of a World Cup. Croatia beats Mexico on penalties, and Belgium beats Greece. In the semifinal, France beat Belgium, and Croatia beat Wales. So Wales couldn't quite make it to the World Cup final. They go out at the semifinal stage. It's going to be Croatia and France in another World Cup final. In the third place playoff, Belgium beat Wales, and in the final, France beat Croatia 2-1 in extra time. The top goal scorer was a Welshman, Dane Morgan. He's decent. He's not as good as Kai Walkin-Jones, but he's decent. I don't think any of our players got into any of the list. Bellinis is a guy we were looking at before. He's a decent little inverted winger. We're looking at signing him, but I don't know. I wasn't sure on it. He's eventually signed with Leeds. No, none of our players in any of the top lists, but for either team. That's all the competitions that have happened since I last saw you. Let's go through the team. The tactic I'm playing a 4-2-4. I made this tactic because I wanted to play Daryl Wilson, and Solaire's our best striker, but Daryl Wilson is a wonder kid. 4.5 star potential, but he had 5-star potential to start the season. 17 dribbling. If we look at him as an advanced forward, 17 dribbling, 17 finishing, 14 first touch. His passing's a little bit low, and his technique, but I'm working on his passing and technique. Off the ball is great. Work rate's great. Mentals are just solid. Physicals are amazing. I just want to give him as much first-team football as I can, and I think the championship's the perfect opportunity to do that. This won't be what I play in the Premier League. Maybe I play just a normal 4-4-2 with the wingbacks pulled back, because they can both play at wide midfielder position. Maybe I play that, or I had this other tactic I created. This is the first tactic I created when I thought of what I was going to do with this team, is a 4-4-1-1. This might be what I play when we get promoted to the Premier League. We've got an attacking midfielder in, if I can find him, Bartol Muhar, who's a pretty good player. Not the best passing, but mentals are very good. Physicals are decent for a guy that's 31 years old. And he's got some good technicals, so he might make the team next season as the starting attacking midfielder, but this is what I'm going to go for this season. I think it's the best way to get all of our best players, and especially best potential players, involved. We go through the players, starting with our goalkeeper, Blairon Gashi, a 29-year-old Sweden man. Looks very good. Great reflexes rushing out, great one-on-ones, great handling, command of area. Agility's amazing, anticipation's amazing, decisions are amazing. He's just a very good goalkeeper. A very, very good goalkeeper. And then our right wing back is Fernando Abellan. He's a very good right back. I'm very happy with him. 18 pace. 16 acceleration, 18 agility, and 18 balance, 17 stamina, 16 work rate, 17 technique, 17 decision, 16 anticipation. For a 26-year-old, he's going to be very good for a long time for this club. He's our long-term right back. He's one of the best players on this team. I think he's very good. Our center backs, our starting center back is actually Cesar Diaby. He's injured right now, but he's pretty good. 13s in all his technicals aren't amazing, but he's got good physicals, good mentals. He's a pretty good center back. This is probably an area I'll look to improve in the future, going back into the Premier League. His replacement right now is Bradley Nicholson. Pretty good technicals. His mentals are missing a few things. Low composure, low aggression. So he's really a no-nonsense center back, which is what I'm playing him as. Decent mentals, decent physicals. So he's a fine player. He's a fine backup. Joe Blake is my other starter, though. Again, his technicals aren't amazing. Neither really are his mentals. He's missing a few areas, but 18 jumping reach at 6'5". That's why he's in the team. He's in the team to win headers, get us goals, and don't let the other team get goals. So I think he could do a good job there. He is English as well. He came through the academy, I think. No, he didn't. He was bought from Aston Villa. So an Englishman, though, I want to get as many Englishmen in this team and non-foreign players in this team as I can. So Nicholson, I believe, is non-foreign. He's English. He came through the club. Blake is non-foreign. I think everyone else I've shown you so far is foreign. And this is a new signing I've made. Amin Alak. He just looks ridiculous. 21 years old. Look at those physicals. Absolutely absurd. He's 6'3" with 19 jumping reach at fullback. 15 marking, 14 passing, 15 positioning, 16 concentration. And he's 21. He's only going to get better. He was really freaking expensive. 102 million. I think 45 of that up front. The rest over 12 monthly installments over 3 years. So it'll be spread out along the kind of length of the next couple years. But I think we needed a left back, and he was the best one out there. I think if he's not the best left back in the world right now, he's going to be the best left back in the world. So I think it's worth the money. He's an absolutely outstanding player. His backup is Bjorn Allert. This is a guy who was going to start if he didn't start. He's just not nearly as good. His mentals are amazing. Physicals are decent, but his technicals are pretty poor. He's got good tackling, but other than that, 11 passing, 11 first touch, 11 dribbling, 9 crossing. He just didn't excite me. So, and we needed a backup because we didn't have a backup. Our only other left back is Quillerem Murselli, something like that. He's okay, but he's definitely not good enough to be a starter or even a main backup, I think. So I wanted another left back, so that's why I brought in Alak. Our starting deep line playmaker is Jordan Dawson, another player that came through the youth academy. 18 passing, 16 vision, so he looks pretty dang good. 15 tackling, so he's a good defensive option as deep line playmaker on defend. He's not ridiculous, but I think he's a solid starting defensive midfielder. We've got another player that I'm kind of battling with him for the starting job. I want Dawson to win it because he's the younger player, but Jonathan Curtis, 29-year-old, also pretty good deep line playmaker on defend. Mentals are a little bit better. He's got better technique. Physicals are maybe a little bit better right now too, but he only has 15 passing compared to the 18. 16 vision compared to, I think he had 17 vision. I just don't think he's quite as good, and he's non-foreign. And yeah, I just want to go with the younger player, so he's going to get the first bite at it. If he doesn't play well, Curtis can definitely come in. Our starting box-to-box midfielder is Alioune Diagne. He's a natural right winger, actual right winger. He's right-footed primarily, but he's either-footed. But I'm going to play him in the center of midfield. He's fine here. He's got decent passing. He's got good tackling for a guy that's naturally a winger. He's just really good. He's a really freaking good player. I think he's a very good box-to-box midfielder. He lacks a little bit in the finishing department. But other than that, he's got the pace. He's got the work rate. The work rate's not amazing, but he's got decent work rate. He's got the technique. Passing and defending, all there. So I think it's a good option. We already have a pretty good right winger in James Effiong, who's a young player with a lot of potential. Came through the youth academy, I believe. He's pretty good right now. 15 pace, 18 acceleration, and he's got good mentals, decent technicals, great dribbling, decent crossing, decent first touch, okay passing, good technique. So I think he's just a really good option at right wing. Young with a lot of potential. Again, one of those players where I want him to get as much first team football as possible, and championship is the best place to do that. So he goes at right wing. Diagne goes into the midfield. Left wing is John Ring, probably our best player. 18 pace, 17 acceleration. I think he came through the Hull City Academy. They bought him for $36.5 million. He's just really freaking good. Mentals are just solid. Technicals are very solid. Physicals are ridiculous. He's naturally a left winger, so English as well. So he's probably the best player at this team. Then our two strikers. Our best one is Pedro Soler. He wants to leave, but I want to keep him because he looks really freaking good. 18 finishing, 18 technique, 20 balance, great physicals, solid mentals, 19 off the ball, great technicals. Yeah, he's just a very good player. I want to keep him at this team for long term. I think he could be a long term option as striker. And the man next to him, I think, could be a long term option as well, is Daryl Wilson. We showed him earlier. He just looks really good. I want to give him as much first team football as I can. In terms of the bench players, we already showed you our backup center back, Bradley Nicholson. I won't show you Phillip. He's not that great. Our backup right back, Hudson, just an okay young option. Says he's a wonder kid, but I don't really know with that potential if he's ever going to get past 2.5 stars. Technicals aren't really there, but good mentals and good physicals. A fine backup option. Jonathan Curtis, I showed you already, our backup deep line playmaker. We have a former Everton man in. Benjamin Zigrovic has joined us on loan. I just had to get him in. He was transfer listed at Everton. I don't know what they're thinking. He's like their second best player, if not their best player. And they let him leave. I mean, we didn't have the money to sign him permanently. Also, I wasn't really sure if we had the need to sign him permanently, but we especially didn't have the money to do it. So I brought him in on loan. He looks really good. He played it well for us, so he's going to be a great backup behind Alioune Diagne as a backup box-to-box midfielder. I think he's going to be perfect for that backup position. We didn't have a natural backup central midfielder, so I wanted to bring him in. Phil Savage is our backup kind of just utility player. He can play anywhere across the front four. If we play an attacking midfielder, he can play there. He can play on the left. He can play on the right. He can play striker, even though he only has 10 finishing. So I have brought in another striker. He was the third best striker at this club when I got here. So I brought in another striker. He's more of a creative striker. He can do a job in the front too. Just doesn't have the best finishing. If you have somebody with good finishing next to him, he'll be fine. So he's an option there, and he's going to be a main option at right wing as a winger on attack. He's fine there. Good passing, vision, teamwork, work technique. Work rate's okay. Yeah, we have a better right winger, but I want him to get a lot of first team football too because he's labeled as a wonder kid. Came through the youth academy. 4.5 star potential. Want to give him a bunch of game time. Then have Marcus Connor, who's our left winger. Good looking player. Not crazy, but good passing, good dribbling. His end product isn't really there. 11 crossing, 9 finishing. But he's stupid fast. Pretty good mentals. He's a fine backup. He can also play striker, but he only has 9 finishing, so I don't think he's going to play striker. Play on the left or on the right. So he's a good option there. Then our backup striker, the guy we have loaned in from Barcelona, Gerard Lopez Rodriguez. A very good-looking striker. Really good mentals. Good passing technique. His finishing is only 13, but I think with everything else on his attributes, he should be fine with 13 finishing. He's really fast. Good strength. Decent jumping reach. Just a great backup option. He can also play on the left wing. He is left-footed, so he can be a backup left winger for us as well. But I think he's our main backup striker. He could even start. He's probably better than Wilson. I don't think he's better than Soler. But he's probably better than Wilson. But Wilson's our youngster. I want to give him a bunch of game time, so he's going to start. Backup goalkeeper's okay. Not very good. I might look for a new backup goalkeeper in the long term. Preferably someone non-foreign. I showed you Bruno Allard and Marcelli. Gavrich is our backup right winger. He's our better right winger, I think. Great physicals, 20 agility. Good dribbling, good finishing ability, or crossing ability, pretty poor finishing ability, good passing technique. He's missing some areas in his mentals, but he's got everything you need for a winger. So I think he's a fine backup. And then finally, another guy who's going to be our backup midfielder. He's going to play as a Mazzala instead of a box-to-box, but he's more of an attacking midfielder. I already showed him before, Bartol Muhar. He could be a backup central midfielder, but I don't like his 9 tackling as a backup central midfielder in the formation we're using, a 4-2-4. So I'd like someone with a little bit better tackling there. So he's an option, but he's kind of our 3rd, 4th, 5th central midfielder option. I showed you Diaby. James Fleming's a youngster, and this Rulis guy, I think I might be letting go on loan. He's an attacking midfielder naturally. He can play striker, but he's not very good there. I'm teaching him to play central midfield, but I think since we got in Zigrovic, I don't think we'll need him. I'll probably loan him out. Let's actually do that right now. Let's loan him out. Regular starter, 100% of wages. I just don't think I'll use him. James Fleming is our third deep line playmaker. He looks pretty dang good. He's like our hot prospect at the club. Wonder kid. It doesn't say wonder kid, but I think he's a wonder kid. 5-star potential. He's missing some areas, but he's pretty. 18 technique and 16 work rate are pretty dang good for a deep line playmaker. He's going to get a little bit of game time, but that's the squad. This is the tactic. This is pretty much the same instructions I played with Everton. Almost maybe exactly the same. Run at defense, work the ball in the box, pass in space, play out of defense, extremely high tempo, distributing to fullbacks, counter and counter pressing, a little bit higher defensive line, much higher line of engagement, extremely urgent, all this get stuck in, offside trap, all that. I think it's the same, just with a different shape, and so far it's worked out well. But that's about it for the team, showing you the team. I don't think there's anything else to show. I'm working on my staff right now, just kind of finishing it out. There's a couple people who joined me here from Everton. If we can find them. Gary Cahill was our coach at Everton. He joined us here at Chelsea. I think he was the only coach. There were some under 23s coaches as well that joined us, but they're not super important. I don't think there's anyone here that joined us. We didn't have a whole lot. We had a couple. I think we had a medical team player. Someone I'm not even sure who it is. I don't even know who it is, but maybe Martin Baker. I don't remember. One of these guys joined us. Not anyone I'm super attached to or anything like that. I wanted to bring our assistant manager with us, but he didn't want to leave. I also wanted to bring our head of youth development, but he didn't want to leave either, so didn't really bring a whole lot of people with me. Let some of theirs go just so I could get better players in their place, but that's enough for that. Let's get into the game. Let's show you how this team will play. This is the squad I'm going with. Nicholson comes in for an injured Diaby. Other than that, it's our strongest 11, I think, for the championship. What I'm going to go with, I mean, do I bring in... Since this is a Super Cup, I'm actually going to bring in Lopez over Daryl Wilson. Daryl Wilson's going to play pretty much every single championship game, so I want to give Lopez a little bit of game time. He's going to start this game. We've got 12 substitutes, so we're fine there. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, this is the team. Let's get into it. See if we can win the UEFA Super Cup. Win our first trophy with Chelsea. I'm going to say we're the underdogs here, and that suits us down to the ground. Let's go and cause an upset. They don't seem to care. They're not really responding too well from me in terms of team talks just yet, but as I get more time at the team, they'll start listening to me a little bit more, and they get a little bit happier because there's some players that want to leave. It should be a great occasion out there today, shouldn't it? It will be. It's exciting. There are two good teams, and hopefully we can win. How much do the terms of Gerard Rodriguez's loan deal affect your decision to start him in matches like this one? I'll say this one only once. He plays because he deserves to. He's probably our second best striker. I think Stoller's still better, but maybe I should have played the 4-4-1-1 for this match since we're playing a much better team. But I want to keep going with this 4-2-4. I want them to get more time with it so they can grow, used to the formation. So I'm okay with starting this right now. I think it gets our best players into the team. So Muhar is probably not one of our best players. I can switch to it easily if I need to. Take off a striker, bring on Muhar, and boom, we're at the 4-4-1-1. So not much change is needed to make to switch to that formation if we're really struggling in this game. We've got off to the better start, though. 2 shots, 0.4 XG, 3 shots. They have 1 shot so far. We've been the better team. I think we should be able to win this. Obviously, Hertha are a good team. They won the Bundesliga last season, but this is a very good Chelsea squad. Like I said, I don't know how they got relegated. This team is far too good to get relegated. So that last manager must have been absolute out of his depth if he got this team relegated. I had to do a little bit of finagling just to get this job. I'm going to be completely honest. They didn't fire the manager. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me that they wouldn't fire their manager considering he got them relegated. But they didn't fire him. I don't think they were going to fire him. He was a little bit precarious, but it wasn't like his job was seriously at stake, I don't think. So what I had to do is I had to add a new manager, take over the Chelsea job, then retire that manager, leaving them with an open manager role. It ended up taking them a long time to get me an interview, though, because I don't know what they were doing, but it took like 3 months for them to actually interview anybody for the role. But they finally interviewed me, and I got the job, so I'm happy with that. I kind of got there naturally, kind of not, but I wanted to take over Chelsea. Like I said before, this isn't a journeyman save, so I'm not too concerned with how I get the job. I just want to get the job. I think it's the best continuation of this series, and so yeah, that's what I did. So we've been the better team so far. We only have one of our 8 shots on target, though. That's not ideal, as they have another attack here, but Gashy's going to easily get to that. No great performances except for Ring. Ring's played pretty well so far. No one else has really put in a great performance. Solaire's with a poor performance so far. Effiong with a poor performance. Maybe I should have started the little bit more experienced guy who's, I don't think he's as good as Effiong, but he's got more experience. As Effiong goes down the wing, he puts it right into Azevedo, though. Easy save for the goalkeeper. Looks like that's going to be the halftime score. Looks like it's going to be 0-0, but we've been the better team. We have the XG advantage. We have the shots advantage. We have the shots on target advantage. We've been the better team so far, even playing our 4-2-4 against a team that won the Champions League last year and won the Bundesliga last year. I'm going to say I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. I'm very pleased. We've been the better team. We just need to be clinical in front of goal. We've got 2 strikers. Surely one of them should be able to score. Lopez Rodriguez with the ball into Dawson. Back to Bejan. Bejan gets intercepted by Gallardo, but he's only gets as far as Diagne. Into Dawson. Back to Diagne. I'm really happy with our midfield partnership. I think Dawson doesn't look the most insane player, but he's great for the first year while we're in the championship. Maybe we need to improve on him going back into the Premier League, but I think he's fine for the championship. He's a youngster too. He might have a little bit of growth that the assistant manager doesn't know about yet. Like they say, he's reached his potential, but I think he might have a little bit of growth more to do. So we'll see. So he puts in a nice ball over the top looking for Ring. He heads it down to Lopez Rodriguez, and Gerard Lopez Rodriguez, the loanee from Barcelona, scores on his debut. Gives us a 1-0 lead in the 56th minute. Nice ball from the man I was just talking about, Dawson. Looking for Ring, who heads it down. Ring in a kind of an unnatural position, playing there a little bit more on the right-hand side. Don't know why he got moved over there, but I'm glad he did because he helped him get the assist. And we have been the much better team. We fully deserve this lead. And we fully deserve the victory. I don't know if we're going to get it, as that Lean is a guy I was really looking at right back for Everton. I did make a signing at Everton. I'll show you what they've done in terms of the transfer market after this game. I don't think they've done a whole lot other than give us Zigrovic, but they have signed one player that I had pretty much signed already. I just hadn't got to confirm the deal yet, but I was going to sign another center back, and I had the deal worked out. I was ready I think I already even did a contract negotiations, but I don't know if they brought him in. As Gerard Lopez Rodriguez scores a second goal. He puts us 2-0 up. All this time I'm talking about Everton, I'm not even focusing on the Chelsea match that's happening right in front of me. As we have taken a 2-0 lead in the UEFA Super Cup over Hertha Berlin. The good, easy little cross by Soler. And Lopez Rodriguez gets on the end of it. He's shown that he's already going to be a great backup for us. I don't think I need him as a starter. I don't think we'll need him to be able to win the championship. Like, we'll be able to do it just fine with the players we have. Players that are actually at the club. But if I need an impact guy off the bench, especially for like the cup competitions, if I get up against the Premier League side, I want to have somebody good that I can bring in that I can trust, and I think he's that option for me. So Dawson's going to come off for Curtis. I'm going to bring on my man, Benjamin Zigrovic. And for my final sub, I guess I'll take off Ring. I don't want him to get injured. Bring on Marcus Connor. Do we have more subs than 3? No, we only have 3 subs. So I'll make those 3 subs. We should be good enough to see out this game, though. Praise the team. Looks like it's going to be a 2-0 victory. A fully deserved 2-0 victory. Yeah, I don't know how they got this team relegated. I haven't made a whole lot of signings. I've brought in a backup striker, a backup central midfielder, and a starting left back. And we were already beating the Champions League winner from last year. I think this team was just horribly mismanaged last year. This is far too good of a team to be relegated. but they were. So it's my benefit. I get to use them. I'm excited to use this Chelsea squad because obviously I was enjoying Everton. I think you were enjoying Everton too, but I just think it's a perfect natural progression. As we do get a third, Marcus Connor, with the ball from James Effiong, gets his second goal of the season so far. Put us 3-0 up. We have absolutely thrashed Hertha Berlin. What a performance this is, showing that we should be a Premier League side. We should be a top division side. We're able to handle the Bundesliga winners from last year. Yeah, this team's far too good to be where they're at. It's completely absurd that they got relegated, but I'm okay with it. It benefits me, so keeps this series going on. Because I don't know what I literally would have done after they score a goal. Dalton Lee Macarius, who they bought for a lot of money. I think he came from Southampton. They paid a lot of money for him. He's really freaking good. As he makes it 3-1, that should probably be the final score. But I was enjoying Everton, but I don't know where I would have gone with that in the future. Like, obviously the whole goal was to win the Premier League, and we did it already. So what was there left to do? I guess I could have went for the Champions League, could have went for the FA Cup, Carabao Cup maybe. I'm not too concerned about the Carabao Cup, but maybe I could have gone for that. But I felt like the main part of the journey was already completed, so this was just a great opportunity to take over one of the best teams in the world that's in the championship. And we win the UEFA Super Cup. It'd get our first trophy with Chelsea. Hopefully first of many. Hopefully we can do like we did with Everton and win the Premier League next season. I think it's pretty much a done deal that we're going to get promoted from the championship. We should not be going through the championship as not winning it. Like, we should be winning the championship every single time. This team is far too good to not. People had us written off today, and you proved them wrong. Well done on a great result. I think this team's good. Congratulations, Ryan. How pleased are you to win the UEFA Super Cup? I'm pleased. So many people have played a big role in getting to this point, and they deserve these moments. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good season for us. Surrealist wants to know why I'm loaning him out. Well, it's because you're not going to be a first-team player. Can you be a regular starter at Sporting? Yes, he can. So you're going out on loan. See if Connor can resolve the issue. He can. We win the UEFA Super Cup. Debutant Lopez Rodriguez makes an instant impact. I bring success. Lopez Rodriguez, fantastic. He's going to be great for us as a backup. Let's look at the Everton squad, see what they've done in terms of signings or sales. Look at their transfer history. Joseph Diop was a sale I already made. I sold him to Burnley for $65 million. He's just not very good, and he's definitely not worth $65 million. So I was glad to get him out the door. Glad to get some money for him. We had plenty of central midfielders at the team already. I wanted to do some business to keep this team in a good position because I want them to have a lot of success even without me. So he sold him. Ramon obviously left on a free. They sold Gavin Shewan. I mean, that's not a terrible sale. He's a decent player. If not, not exceptional, but he's a solid player. Homegrown, or not homegrown, but I don't think he's homegrown. He is homegrown. So homegrown player, non-foreign. I don't think they should have sold him. I think he's a great backup, but whatever. And obviously, they loaned Zigrovic to us. Rydell is a player that I had signed before. Just a youngster that I signed for $73K. That's got a lot of potential. I think he's their hot prospect right now. So, obviously, a pretty good deal for me. Pretty good deal for Everton. Sam Robinson is the one signing I made. I hadn't completed it yet, but it was about to be done. $16 million for a decent right back. Not homegrown, but non-foreign. Somebody that can compete with Albarracin. That was the whole idea of it. He can also play center back, but not very well. He's more of a right back. I just wanted somebody else to compete with Albarracin. I wanted somebody better, but there was just no options in the transfer market. I couldn't find anyone that was better than Albarracin that I could have brought in, so I needed to bring in somebody because Veridiano is not good enough to start in the Premier League. So I brought in Sam Robinson. I was also going to bring in another man. I should have him on my short list. Marco Saric. I was going to bring him in as a new center back option to replace Ramon, because they still need to replace Ramon. They've only sold another center back, so they have two center backs at the club. They definitely need to do some work bringing in center backs. I don't know if they're going to, but I was going to bring in Saric, but they must not have accepted the deal. I don't remember if I had the contract negotiation done or not, but I don't think I had. I think I had just agreed to transfer, so they must not have got a contract done with him. Amazing physicals, solid technicals, solid mentals. I think he would have been great for us. It's a lot of money. I think I did it with his release clause, which is $58 million, but I think it's worth it. I saw a much worse player in terms of Joseph Diop for $65 million. So to pay $58 for a guy that's young, looks very good, has a lot of room to improve. I thought it was a no-nonsense signing. Apparently they didn't agree. So Everton have not signed him, but can I go back to Everton? Gosh, this game is so laggy sometimes. That happens when you're 20 years into the future, 21, 22 years into the future. Vidovic is still their key player. Rydell, like I said, is their hot prospect. There were a couple other transfers I made before the beginning of the season. They loaned in a Drew Hardy, something they did, a left winger. That's fine. He's a fine player, non-foreign. Yeah, I'm okay with that. A couple players we did sign. Let me go back. Pablo Massaro and Ludwig Eliasson, 2 wingers. Massaro, a left inverted winger. Looks pretty dang good. 15 passing. Solid for an 18-year-old. That's a very good 18-year-old. We bought for what, $8 million, I think it said? $8.5 million. Bargain. Then for an even better bargain, $3.7 to $6.5 million for Ludwig Eliasson. He's not quite as good as the other guy. He's got 17 passing, though, and 17 technique, and great vision already. So he's got a lot of potential, too, I think. Again, a 19-year-old. He was 18 when I signed him. Currently 19 years old. I think he was going to be my backup right inverted winger. I don't know if if Massaro was going to be our backup left inverted winger or not. Probably would have. But 2 young kids that had a lot of potential that I think could have taken. I think they both had 5-star potential. So they would have been long-term options at those wings. So I think I left them in a good spot. They have some good players. They should be able to do pretty well in the Premier League. But that's enough of Everton. It's Chelsea time. So in terms of when we'll be back, FA Cup's not for a while. So I don't know when the Champions League starts. We might be back for a Champions League match. I won't say for sure when we'll be back. Maybe Middlesbrough in this EFL Cup. Maybe a Champions League match. We'll see. I'll play a few games. See what happens. I think that's the end of the video, though. If you've made it this far, why don't you like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. The links to all my socials are also in the description. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.